mga kaibigan, welcome to In My Toolbox. Of course, this is your weekly talk show for your personal finance only here at PHLV Radio. The goal of this show, mga kaibigan, is to give you financial information or business information that you may be able to use on your day-to-day business or financial decisions. Mga kaibigan, we will unbox topics that hopefully will be able to aid you and guide you and maybe even add to your financial tools. Of course, we will tackle important information. Well, on the financial side, mostly, it's not being taught in school, right? But of course, it's much so needed to empower you financially. Yan naman mga kaibigan. Again, as usual, in any idea that will transpire in this show, always consult with your financial advisors, insurance professionals, tax consultants, etc. Right? Again, my name is Enrico Pobre. I'm your host here at In My Toolbox. Of course, if you want to get in touch with me, you can just Google my name, Enrico Pobre. I bet you won't miss me at all, right? Or otherwise, just email me at enrico.inmytoolbox@gmail.com. Mga kaibigan, again, thank you so much for being in the show today. And we have a very good topic today. And of course, we have an awesome guest speaker for our topic. We will be talking about self-employed tax credit. I don't know if you've heard that before, but definitely this is something that you would want to know about. If this is not you, maybe somebody that you know who is actually self-employed, right? So let's just dive down into it. Just going to give you a little bit background before I introduce to you my special guest, all right? So self-employed tax credit, or you call it the Family's First Coronavirus Response Act. It's actually a federal law, mga kaibigan, that actually provides self-employed individuals. So you just want to make sure that, am I self-employed, right? Know that, Google it, find it out, right? With actually tax credit that reimburses them dollar for dollar for the cost of being unable to work during the pandemic times, during the COVID times. What? I didn't know that. That's exactly the reason we're going to be talking about the self-employed tax credit, or officially known FFCRA, or Family's First Coronavirus Response Act. This is actually the only government program that puts cash back into the hands of self-employed. It's not a loan. It is a refund of the taxes that you already paid. Wow! Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it sounds good, and it's true. All right. So, straight from the mouth of our guest speaker today, let's all welcome my good friend, our Divisional Vice President for I4 Global Incorporated, as our resource speaker. Let's all welcome Mr. Victor Sanchez of Virginia Beach. There you go. Hey, Victor, how are you, sir?
Doing well this afternoon. Welcome, and thank you very much for having me on your show this morning. In My Toolbox. I mean, this is awesome.
Awesome. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
I was going to say, I saw your presentation last week on the employee retention tax credit, and that was phenomenal. I will tell you that this is something that, everyone needs to know about, business owners, and now getting the opportunity to talk to individuals that are self-employed. This just opens up the gambit for us to be able to help another group of individuals and families.
Perfect.
So that's what we have.
Exactly. Thank you so much for saying that, Mr. Victor. But look at this. Maybe just in 1 minute, right? Let's just have a good recap on the one that you just mentioned, employee retention tax credit. This one is solely for employers who has employees during the pandemic time that they can get a refund. Can you just give a little bit gist of that before we move forward to our self-employed one?
That is correct. So, and that is what the employee retention tax credit was all about. It's about helping business owners, small to medium-sized business owners, with a minimum of 2 to up to 500 W-2 employees. Now, this. We were going out and talking to business owners, but we got asked, well, I don't have anyone that's W-2, or we don't have as many folks, or I have 1099. Well, we couldn't help them with that before, but a lot of folks now, we are able to help them with this self-employed tax credit. So
Awesome.
we're very excited about this addition to the services that we can provide for Americans and individuals all across the United States, I should say.
Perfect. I know that's exactly how the employee retention tax credit, and it really did help a lot of business owners, who really suffered. Of course, the business suffered during the pandemic times, and this is a good way of the government giving back and helping these business owners to be back on their feet again. Just to, if I might say it, right? So now, thank you so much for that. Overview of the ERTC, Victor. We're going to talk about the SETC right now. And again, we were talking about that a little while ago and said, hey, it sounds too good to be true, right? And just to let everybody know, it is real, right? The FFCRA is actually straight from Congress and was designed to support independent small business owners. Well, these are the 1099s. Sole proprietors, freelancers, gig workers, like a lot of us, to build them back to where they should be, right? So give us a little gist on the SETC, Victor.
Okay, well, thank you for that. So the self-employed tax credit itself are tax credits that were paid under the American Rescue Plan of 2021. And there were specific provisions related to self-employed individuals. Now, this is, again, designed to help folks during the COVID-19 pandemic. So if you recall, March of 2020, and then the rest of the year, and then the full year 2021, all across the United States, self-employed business owners were hit with this pandemic, and it affected their business in a negative way. Now, the process of this here, and a lot of people don't know about this, it's really funny because you said that it's too good to be true. A lot of times we hear, oh, well, I don't qualify for this. Well, you know what? That is, a very common misconception that's out there. However, with the self-employed tax credit, these individuals can be eligible for up to, get this, $32,000 in tax credits from 2020 and 2021.
Wow, that's a lot of money. $32,000, up to $32,000. If you don't know, if you're eligible for this one, you might want to start checking it out if you are actually eligible, right? As long as you're 1099. So who are the 1099s, Mr. Victor, if you can just explain it to us?
So absolutely. We have a lot of individuals that are out there that may say, well, I don't qualify because, I don't know if I qualify. Well, the perfect thing to do is to find out from a accounting firm that actually does this for a living. And actually, we have a great accounting firm that we work with. However, these individuals can include, folks that are in real estate, either a real estate broker, mortgage broker, agents for those real estate and mortgage agents.
Wow.
Even insurance agents, get this, even insurance agents, gig workers. Now, I just hit the blue collar, industry, but did you know that gig workers can also qualify for this? So if you know someone that's actually a delivery driver for, let's say, Amazon, and they happen to be a 1099 employee, they can qualify. Anyone that owns a business, painters, contractors, plumbers, business consultants, you can go into a hair salon, and you will find that sometimes those individuals in that hair salon are not the W-2 with that salon owner. They are just 1099s. So that just gives you an example. I mean, there's literally hundreds of different examples of self-employed. But did you know that there's over 15 million easily self-employed with an average income of over $87,000?
Okay.
And you can qualify for that.
Wow. That's good. That's good to know, Mr. Victor, right? So if you guys are a 1099, he mentioned that a nurse that is actually just not on a W-2, definitely just 1099 there, right? A truck driver and all of this stuff. So you see, guys, if I were you, start connecting with Victor or anybody out there. You can Google who are actually qualified for all of this, that self-employed tax credit. So a portion of your mortgage or rent, you get this to you can deduct this into your taxes, like property tax, the cost of the utilities, repairs, maintenance expenses. This deduction generally is only available to self-employed. And then employees typically cannot take the home office deduction as per the IRS. So now, what are the types of I know we talked about the job already, and then what do they need to know? What do you call this? I have to submit this so I can qualify for the $32,000. Well, what do they need to submit? Or what's the process?
Well, it's interesting. That's a very good question, because the process is very simple, and it depends on who you go with. And I'm just going to give you an example with one of the accounting firms, which is one of the top four largest accounting firms in the nation. So basically, all you really need to do is just get your forms. And what they need is, some information about your tax form. Excuse me. Your tax forms for 2019, and 2021. And then, of course, as we will say, that you always want to consult with the tax professional. This accounting firm is the tax professional, and I don't want to give any information that says, that will counter what a tax professional would say. But one of the best things I can say for you is to actually go to our website, and you can get your answer directly from the accounting firm. So again, really what you all need is basically your tax forms from 2019, 2020, and 2021. And then they will actually provide you more information. So it's not a ton of paperwork. A lot of people think, well, I got to have a lot of paperwork, right? No. Those returns and a copy of your driver's license is basically all you need.
Wow.
So that's a very good thing. So,
that's great.
It's very simple.
Very simple process for a rideshare driver, very simple process for an eBay seller, a freelancer. These are the people that can actually, apply for this self-employed tax credit. Even a dance instructor, because, of course, it was closed at the time. A handyman, esthetician, all of this 1099 works. You can actually qualify. Wow. And then you guys know it's the year 2020, 2021, right? So, Mr. Victor, help us in here. What is you're saying about 32,000, that's the maximum amount that they can qualify for, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so they will review. I hope I got it right. They will review the tax. What do you call this? Your income tax return during those years, and if they see significant, is that a good trigger? If they see significant, what do you call this? Loss of business, and you qualify for, is that how it works as well?
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question to ask, because it really isn't based on taking a loss.
Okay.
But it's really based on solely your 1099 income.
That's it.
From either it's going to come from your self-employment form, I believe it's line 6, and then you also have a Schedule C.
Yes.
So it's going to come from one of those two forms that they're going to actually look at to get that information. Now, it's simple for the client. However, it is really, really interesting. It's not a very simple calculation for the accounting firm. So one of the things what I like to say is sometimes you want to make sure that you get the right accounting firm to do this for you.
Correct.
Because there's been individuals or cases where it doesn't get added up or correctly or filed correctly, and that can cause other problems. So again, even if you filed your taxes for 2020 and 2021, all that needs to be done is an amendment and a special form for the IRS called the 7202. That's going to allow them. Again, that's not it's not a simple form.
Nope, it's not.
Right? But it's complex, but we can help with them.
Perfect. So that's good to know, Mr. Victor. So you mean can anybody just apply for it, or they need somebody that knows on how to do it?
Yes, that's a very good question, because I would say that there's been cases where they need to get with a firm that really understands the the laws. It really understands the tax law with the self-employment tax credit. And again, the accounting firm that we're working with actually, again, is the fourth largest in the U.S. that has been on, different shows such as ABC, broadcast, ABC, CBS, Fox, and so forth. And again, this is an individual and his firm that actually helps with the accounting of the self-employed tax credit.
Wow.
And again, we say, it's not audit protection, but they're audit-ready type of files that they provide to the IRS, and that's phenomenal.
Wow. So it's just like filing your taxes, guys, right? You can actually do it by yourself, but you would want an expert to do it correctly for you to be able to maximize your returns. So I think that's similar to what you're talking about, Victor, that they can do it by themselves, but they don't want to see themselves doing it wrongly, right? But they will want to make sure that they use experts to do this, right?
Absolutely, that is correct.
Awesome, perfect. So, Mr. Victor, with regard to the self-employed tax credit, again, you mentioned about $32,000 maximum per person. What are the reasons why they will not be able to qualify? Of course, number one, if you didn't have to, if you are not the 1099, definitely you're not going to be qualifying for that, right?
Yes.
Right? So W-2, right? You don't qualify, so don't even waste your time. So what will not qualify them? Yeah, I'm a 1099. I did not do business, a lot of business at a time. I just started my business at the time. Will I be qualifying? So does it depend if there is actually a submitted ITR, or how does it work?
So the only way not to qualify for the self-employment tax credit is if you actually took all of your deductions and your profit was zero. That is the only way that you cannot qualify for this year. Okay. So if you were self-employed and you had a business and you had, $10,000 worth of income for that whole year, which we know maybe not a lot, but you could still qualify for this year.
Perfect.
Unless you took that $10,000 and just wiped it out with your write-offs, and then you got a zero. So that is the only way that you would not qualify for this. But okay. It's always good to let a professional to actually let to let you know that. And again, with us, it's free just to find out. There's no cost to find out if you qualify, and that's what's really great. One of the things that we're working with individuals all across the United States is the fact that you can actually find out for free.
Exactly. And speaking about finding out if you're eligible, didn't you know, guys, or Mr. Victor, correct me if I'm wrong, research actually tells us that 80% of self-employed individuals don't even know they're entitled, or they're eligible. So if I were you guys, you might want to check it out, because these people are leaving millions of valuable tax credit on the table. So that's the reason I want to make sure that we talk about here in the show, so that people out there will know that there's such a thing, and it's real, it's a federal law, that you all have to do is to actually just apply, or check first if you're eligible, and then you apply. Now, another thing, Mr. Victor, if they apply now, how long will they expect that if they have money to expect as a refund? They're going to be getting it in the form of a check, right?
That is correct. It's a check from the U.S. government. And you know what? It is really, really funny, because I would like to call this, and I've heard that it's been called before, and I'm going to steal the line. Here we are in the middle of October. Most clients can receive their money within 8 to 14 weeks. Well, listen to this. 8 to 14 weeks, 8 weeks from now, it's Christmas, right?
Yeah.
So you can consider this Christmas money, You get a big surprise, right?
That's good. More jingles on your jeans, mga kaibigan, right? Well, guys, for speaking about eligibility, you might want to find out, because it's if there was a government agency imposed of a quarantine, which happened, or isolation order, which happened, that actually is going to be a trigger, because it actually affected your business. Now, your doctor recommended that you do a self-quarantine. Definitely, it's going to be a reason that you were unable to work, right? So you actually qualified. You were, of course, you were having, look at this, guys, COVID-19 symptoms. Just the symptoms. While you're waiting for an appointment with your doctor, also qualifies you for that. You were waiting for COVID-19 related test result. You could also be eligible for that. You were getting vaccinated against COVID-19. You will be eligible. That's the reason why, guys, there's tons of reasons why you can be eligible. Right? So that's very good. Mr. Victor, you were saying 8 weeks? Correct me if I'm wrong. So jingle to their genes.
Yes, and some added jingle to your genes within 8 to 14 weeks. And again, and you mentioned this here, and I'll just elaborate on this a little bit further, is that COVID symptoms doesn't mean you have to have COVID. You just have to have the symptoms of COVID, right? And of course, one of the things that you'll find out is that if you actually have children under the age of 18 and you took care of them because you couldn't find daycare or they were out of school, that also counts as being affected by COVID.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the things that we're seeing is that if you didn't have kids under the age of 18, it does affect your credit, your self-employment tax credit, the amounts you'll get, but again, you'll still get something.
Definitely.
That's really great.
Yeah, in fact, somebody actually just texted me, hey, I qualified for $2,000 only. Well, get it. It's $2,000. $2,000.
Exactly.
It's $2,000. So just to make sure that everybody's clear, it takes about minimum of 3 weeks for the IRS to even to acknowledge that they actually got the application for this self-employed tax credit, right? And then and you were saying about that 8 weeks to 22 weeks from the acceptance, you can actually receive the refund check or direct deposit. Wow, that's good, right? So, Mr. Victor, if I let somebody do it for me, are they charging fees for this?
A lot of folks, yes. So there is a fee for the charge for this work here, and that varies depending on who you go with. I will mention that with what we're looking at, with what we're doing, is we're actually helping individuals that are eligible for the self-employment tax credit. Now, if you get a refund of less than $1,000, well, that can be kind of tough, right? I'm only get $1,000, right? And what's the term? It's based on a contingency deferred fee, which means that you won't have to pay for it until you get your money back. Okay. There is an amendment for the filing, right? So the amendment is $197.50 per year. So when you actually add that up, it's $395. However, I'm gonna let you know, for the month of October, and I'm looking at this here. If you do this and take action on this, and you actually refer 3 customers or 3 individuals that can actually take advantage of the service, this company will actually file your amendment for free.
Oh, wow. That's great. Well,
they have the contingency fee, but the filing for the amendment is going to be covered.
Wow. Well, I'll take it. Okay, that's very good, Mr. Victor. Let them know how to get in touch with you later on. But I have a question here. But if they actually was able to receive unemployment benefits during that time of COVID, do they qualify for the self-employed tax credit?
That's a very good question. One of the things I would like to say, and I would defer to these accounting professionals, I would say, look, that's a very good question. Go ahead and apply. It does not hurt to just find out. Mm-hmm. Go through that process. And then, of course, that's a question you need to have with that tax professional that's doing that case for you.
Yeah.
Because once you go through that process, they're going to give you the 100% right answer.
Yeah, because you're talking about the IRS, right? Definitely, they don't want you to double dip. That's the thing, because they're just trying to help us alleviate ourselves from where we were during pandemic times. But you are so correct. Ask that to your accounting professionals, so they definitely know the answers to this. Because some did actually receive unemployment benefits during the time. So. That's very good. Then there's another question here. Can I use days I took care of child other than my own child? So I know for me, maybe if you allow me, Mr. Victor, the answer there is no. You can only use days that you actually took care of your own dependent. That's how it is, right? So this is not a business. That's the reason why I just have to put it out there, right? So very good, Mr. Victor. In fact, that's very exciting. What do you call this? That everybody who is actually on 1099 has now been trying to apply first, know their eligibility and apply for that tax credit. Now, Mr. Victor, I know you've been doing this one. You've been helping people out there. How do they get in touch with you?
Well, what I would like to do is I'd like to share my a link that you all can actually go to find out how to get it's going to provide you my email, and basically it's setc-refund.com. That link, setc-refund.com, will take you to this process, and you'll have my email address, and you'll be able to get a hold of me, wherever you are. You could be in Texas, Alaska, who knows where, and you can still get a hold of me and ask these questions. And of course, we'd be more than happy to help you with that process. Okay.
Perfect. That's kind of you, Mr. Victor. Thank you so much for giving us your insights. And I have one more question here that was asked. Do I qualify if I did not pay myself a sick leave? So this is if he's 1099 and did not pay himself a sick leave, do they qualify for the self-employed tax credit? Well, again, of course, that's obvious. I know what you're going to be saying, Mr. Victor. The simple answer is yes, because that's what the FFCRA was designed to cover. Because during that time, definitely, it's either you got sick, you had the symptoms, etc. Because a lot of entrepreneurs actually fell into this category. Just to make sure that I give it out there. All right. So Mr. Victor, thank you so much for that wisdom. Any parting words to our viewers and listeners?
Absolutely. I've got a couple. I want to make sure that people understand this, that, one of the common questions we actually have is, well, I'm W-2 and full-time and I'm part-time as a 1099. Do I qualify? Yes, you can. However, you actually have to have the accounting firm actually go back and make sure. This is one of the reasons why you need these W-2, you need your actual tax forms to be submitted, because we got to find out, and I say we, the accounting firm has to find out if your employer paid you on the Coronavirus Act, okay? So on the CARES Act, if they use some of that, then that's going to affect how much you would get. That's one question. The second question is, well, I'm self-employed and my wife is self-employed. Well, I've got good news for you now. If you're both self-employed, you both can qualify. So that $32,000, well, and if you did really well, you can actually double that. And again, it's up to, I'm not saying you're going to get 32, it's up to $32,000 each.
Wow. Let's all apply. It's all about knowing the eligibility, and you already gave your link to them. Will they see an eligibility question on the link that you just gave them?
Yes, it's a simple 5-step or 5 questions that you get asked, and then it'll ask you to get your estimate. You click on get the estimate, and it's gonna give you an estimate right there in not even 5 minutes. And then from there, you will actually go through another page, and then you can click, get your return, and then from there you're going to get a more detailed and more accurate amount. And then, of course, again, you can always reach out and ask the questions. If again, my email is victori4sanchezjr@gmail is actually on that link. You can always reach out to me to get assistance with that process. But again, very simple, and I think you'll be very happy about this, because there's a lot of folks that qualify for this, but they're just like, I don't know if I qualify. I don't even think I qualify. How can I? But they didn't know about it. So we're here to share that word with everyone that's out there. Go ahead and file, and
it's free. It's free. That's what's so good about that. If they look at the eligibility, guys, what we're talking about here is the self-employed tax credit, and it's actually real. It's actually a federal law out there. that was intended to help 1099 people during the pandemic times. Okay, so very good. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor. I know, you're a busy man. I bet your phone is actually is on fire every day for people who is actually asking about all of this 1099. I just would like to definitely thank you for being in the show today. Guys, connect with Victor. And mga kaibigan, hanggang dito na lang po ang ating episode within My Toolbox. Again, my name is Enrico Pobre, signing off.